Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So glad to be here with you guys today. Before we get started, let me just give the administration team like a big shout out for allowing me this opportunity to be here with you guys today, like to add value, to serve, and for that, I say thank you. I'm gonna ask that you guys just for a brief moment, look to your left for a quick second, like really, really quick. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna ask that you guys look to your right. Great. One out of every five individuals is gonna face some type of mental health issues throughout the course of their life. But since most people can only identify mental health issues as it pertains to a homeless group of people or as it pertains to an individual that's stuck in a mental institution, they will never be able to see themselves as having a mental health issue, right? And for the person that's in the back or for the person that's in the front that's just like me that needed a little help and guidance understanding of what mental health is, okay, I'm gonna tell you to you like this. Mental health says life is going to happen. But see, when life happens for one group of people, you're going to be afforded an opportunity to put your hand on the ground to catch yourself before you fall. And see, for the other group of people, when life happens, you're not going to be afforded that same opportunity. So when life happens, you're going to fall. And when you fall, it's going to hurt. But when you fall, there's going to be an emotional cut that cuts you from your head to your toe, right? And it's going to take you some time to recoup some of your strength. But as you're recouping your strength, anger and rage fills your body, right? And as you're halfway up, you feel a tap on your shoulder. And you look to your left or you look to your right when you see that tap, that's depression. And depression introduces itself. They say, "Hey, I'm depression. How are you? Can we be friends?" And because you're not aware of what depression is, or because you don't know the effects of depression, you welcome depression in with open arms. And so depression starts to do little things, little slick things like this. Depression will say, "Hey, I know we just met. I know we just getting acquainted with one another. But when you go to school, can you sit in the back? Because I don't think those guys that's in your classroom, I don't think they understand you the way I understand you, right? Or once depression has you isolated and feeling bad about yourself, low self-esteem have you feeling worthless, depression may say something like this. Um, if you don't mind, when we leave school, can we get us something to drink, maybe some alcohol, or can we find some weed to smoke to maybe just make us relax and just feel a little better about ourselves? And because you're already isolated and because you already don't feel so well about yourself, you agree to it, right? Well, I got news for you. That's life happening. And see, life is going to happen to each and every last one of you guys, right? So for some of you guys, life is going to happen in the form of your parents. Whether you're going through physical abuse, whether you're going through verbal abuse, or whether you're going through emotional abuse, life is going to happen. So there's another group of individuals, they come from an environment that forces them to fight every single day, right? And they hate it, but they understand that in order to keep on surviving, I must fight, right? And you got another group of individuals, they do not have the words to say, right? What do you mean? Like, they want to say and they want to express themselves, but they can't find the words to express themselves. So when a situation or they encounter something, because they don't have the words, they seem to lash out and they seem to snap and they always seem to be angry, right? That's what it means when life happens, right? I can recall, like, I met Coach Brown when I was in high school, and I met him through basketball, right? And Coach Brown, he took a liking to me. So he would always be tough on me. Like, I didn't know that he saw something in me. I just knew that he was always tough on me, right? So about maybe after 3 years, after 3 years with being around Coach Brown, one day Coach Brown pulls me to the side and he says, Jones, something is different about you. He said, but if you keep going the direction that you're headed, he said, you're gonna wind up dead or you're gonna wind up locked up. Now, Coach Brown, I never told Coach Brown about the brokenness that I felt on the inside of myself, right? I never told Coach Brown that my dad left when I was 5, and from 5 to 11 or 5 to 10, I didn't have a father, and I felt pain, and I felt broken, and I felt insecure. Like, I never told Coach Brown that. But Coach Brown told me those words because he saw those actions and he saw those behaviors before. And he knew based off of experience that if I didn't change, or if I didn't fix my issues, or if I didn't confront the problems that I had, which was I felt pain because I felt abandoned because my dad left, if I didn't address those situations, like, I would be in a lot of trouble, right? And I kid you not, 3 months after I had that conversation with Coach Brown, I found myself in the back of a car with my brother getting ready to commit a crime. 3 months after Coach Brown predicted my future, I was fulfilling what he was going to say by getting in that car, getting that gun, and going into that building and committing armed robbery. And next thing I know, I found myself in jail. See, it's easy for me to talk about this. It's easy for me to talk about this type of stuff right now. Why? Because I've gone through it. Why? Because I've learned about mental health. Why? Because I've understand the stigmas that attach to mental health, right? And because most of you guys have parents that come from a generation or that comes from an era that they had to keep everything in to survive. And they passed it on to you guys, right? And so it was a big stigma about mental health that says, man, if you talk about mental health, man, you must be crazy. And a lot of people didn't want to be associated with that term crazy because they knew the retribution that they would receive by being associated with those terms. And so that stigma is hurting a lot of you guys right now. Like that it doesn't matter what type of stigma it is. It could be a stigma of being tough. It could be a stigma of being the bad guy. Like, it doesn't matter, but that stigma is hurting you guys. And you got to change the way you look at that stigma. Like, I know you guys are bright individuals. I know you guys are smart. Like, I know you guys have exactly what it takes, like, to be the next best thing. Right? You all possess that, right? But you have to activate it. It's not just gonna magically appear. Like, you have to work at it. You have to go through a struggle, but you have to be willing to commit yourself to it. Or otherwise, if you're not willing to commit yourself to it, you'll find yourself in a situation like I was, where I was 17 years old and I stood in front of a judge, and that judge looked at me and he said, stand up, son. He said, we hereby sentence you, Jarvis Jones, to 15 years for simple armed robbery. Like, I want you guys to think about that. I want you to think about, like, before the next time you make a decision about anything, I want you guys to ask yourself, how important is your life to you? Right? Like, the next time you have one of those friends and, like, you know whatever it is he doing is wrong, I want you to sit there and ask yourself, is me wanting to be accepted by my peers worth my life? Is me wanting to fit in worth my life? Like, I'm not talking to you guys as a person that read something in a book. Like, I'm talking to you guys from a person that has experienced being incarcerated. Like, I served 6 years and 8 months in prison, right? Because I was unaware. I was unaware of how much damage that I was doing to myself. And I need you guys to start keeping score. Like, that's the only way that you will become aware of anything, and only if you keep score of what's going on in life. Like, if you hurting, I need you to keep score of that. If you're doing good, I need you to keep score of that, right? And then I need you to make the adjustments. Like, it makes zero sense to play a game and knowing that you're not winning the game, but you know the adjustments that you need to make, but you refuse to make the adjustments. Like, it makes no sense. So this is what I need you to do. I need you guys to make the proper adjustments.